Hello Leeds fans, we're back after watching another defeat for the Whites. This time we lose out to a leisurely Fulham side who really were in second gear all day today. 2-1, Leeds lose. It's going to be a quick fire one from me because I simply cannot be bothered with this team anymore. If they can't be bothered on the pitch, then why should I be bothered doing this all the time? And why should you be bothered letting it ruin your weekend and your week in general? Leeds just... We can go through moments, and I'm sure we will do on the debrief. We'll do things that you've missed as well later on, maybe Monday or maybe tomorrow as well. But Leeds just, once again, lacked fight, lacked intensity, lacked structure. The transitional moments for Fulham were easy to break through us. Leeds are hopeless when teams get past our midfield, and they're able to get through our midfield very easily because the dreamer at the top of the club, who has no football brain when it comes to setting up an actual framework of a side, has just put us and made us top heavy. That was evidenced by the fact that our £35 million striker once again didn't feature in Jorginho Rutter and has featured about 14 minutes throughout the entire period at Leeds United, really. And whether or not you think that's right, whether or not you think that's wrong, Leeds spent 35 million on this guy and he doesn't feature. The squad shape, the squad morale, everything around Leeds United at the minute is a shambles. I sat there and watched Southampton Arsenal last night, and I thought Southampton, even when they're down and out, even when you expect the chips to be down, the players not been bothered looking at summer moves, thinking to themselves, nah, screw this, well, we're down, we're done, I'll be getting on the phone to my agent. They might still be doing this, but they still showed fight, desire, heart, professionalism on the pitch, and some real technical ability as well, scoring 3 away at Arsenal. Thought Southampton were really good last night and quite unlucky. Leeds United, once again, go to Fulham, can barely connect a sequence of passes, concede 2 Illan Meslier faults again, palming the ball into the central space. And this guy is at fault for numerous goals now, and we'll still get people saying that he's a fantastic goalkeeper and he's a great shot stopper. I've not seen Illan Meslier be a great shot stopper since probably around about January, December. He's at fault for many goals. He's at fault for many lapses in concentration which lead to opposition goals, and it's not just him, but it was his fault for the 2 goals today. Once again, Rasmus in absolute no man's land. As soon as they know that Willian is up against Rasmus, which Fulham found out within probably about 20 to 25 minutes, where they were just playing through the motions a little bit, still had more of the ball, but playing through the motions a little bit. And then as soon as you saw Willian isolate Rasmus, because Rasmus is a League One defender, it was easy. Willian is 35 years old, believe it or not. 35 years old. We mentioned him in the preview, been really agile and very good over 5-10 yards and very quick. But the amount he was turning a 23, 24-year-old up was quite embarrassing. Once again, Rasmus defends square, as does Luke Ayling. The squad makeup is tragic. It is absolutely embarrassing from that clown at the top of the club. So yeah, all in all, nothing. I said on Twitter it'd be 1-1. I was trying to be a little bit optimistic, but overall the faults started appearing straight away. Chinks in our armour, heads down. Thought Cooper had a really good game. There's a couple of missed opportunities when it came to him judging headers, but once again he comes in. What does it say about the state of our squad when he comes in and he's the best defender? Verba came in, did okay, was probably head and shoulders above Koch, who was horrific, can't pass the ball at the minute, was struggling with defensive headers, even when he's towering over the tallest Fulham attacker, which even in the first half was probably Harry Wilson at about 5'9". Robin Koch is having an absolute shocker now, and when I'm looking at men to step up right now, I'm looking at someone like him. He doesn't look bothered. I don't think Illan looks bothered. McKennie, hey, does he fancy it? He's a lone player, and once again we can bring it back to squad building, which is what we've spoken about several times. And I still blame top down for exactly what's gone on, but you look at McKennie today, just didn't fancy it, didn't want it. Everybody hiding, not showing for the ball, doesn't want to be here. And if that's the Juventus player that we're going to be signing when the chips are down and he doesn't fancy it, send him back. Not interested. Absolutely not interested in signing him, even if we stay up at the end of the season. Because if his head's down like that when Leeds are playing, it has been over the past couple of games. You've seen his head on the floor pretty much. And you know, I'm going to call out Mark Rocker as well. Just can't pass the ball all of a sudden. Played a nice little switch pass at one point to Jack Harrison, who another one who we can talk about since his contract just doesn't fancy it. So many Leeds players don't fancy it. And the reason I mentioned Southampton is because I'm watching Southampton last night, and even though they don't have the best quality, they fancy it. You've got Ward-Prowse, Walcott, Alcaraz, all up for it, all really up for it. Carr at the end scoring a decent header, and them all surrounding him thinking this is the moment, all wanting it. I don't see any want, passion, desire, heart, grit, guts, determination from any of that bunch. A Fulham side who've got nothing to play for. Again, as we said with Crystal Palace, really, and Liverpool, you can lay the excuse at Liverpool's door of quality, even though Fulham, Everton, West Ham, Wolves have all taken wins off them. But Leeds fans don't like to acknowledge that. Some Leeds fans, it has to be, you know, they played much better against Leeds than everybody else. And everybody else was, you know, they either got referee decisions or whatnot. There was definitely different circumstances which when other teams won. When you actually look at it, you take all those chips, you actually look at it, we're embarrassed by a below average Liverpool side who have got quality, of course they have, but you saw within the first 20 to 25 minutes, they were going through the motions. There was nothing really there. We've played much better Liverpool sides and put better performances up against them. Crystal Palace was a pure embarrassment and a capitulation at the highest order. Today is resignation. There is nothing. It doesn't look like there's morale within the squad. Even when Willie Gnonto's coming on, his head's down. I do not blame Willie at all, by the way. The lineup, you're getting the manager. Starting Somerville, who I thought started pretty brightly, but you've literally got the manager still starting with Aronson, still starting with Harrison. What do you say? What do you say? The manager is completely culpable at this moment in time. And would I want him next season? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. He seems to stick. He seems to be slightly stubborn with what he believes in, which I sort of understand, but I'm still watching it thinking, we've got 7 games as of today, 7 games to go. You're not playing our best players, fella. Sinisterra's on the bench. Nonto came on, which apparently they've had. Nonto's been injured for all these periods of time, even though he's been on the bench for 4 games. If you're injured, you don't play. You're not on the bench for 4 games, are you? Sinisterra's bench for this one came on. And as I say, you've got Jorginho Rutter on there, 35 million quid against Fulham at Craven Cottage. I thought he was one of the better players on the pitch. Harrison, anonymous once again. Aronson spent most of the time on the floor, as we all know. And same blueprint. No quality in the final third. I said in a tweet beforehand, that front 4 will not be able to trap the ball, retain possession in Fulham's half, and win free kicks and get Leeds up the pitch because there's not enough quality on the pitch. You've got quality on the bench. You're not bringing it on. You know, Willie can draw players in. He can win fouls. He can create things, as can Sinisterra. I hark you back to 3 games ago against Nottingham Forest when we weren't breaking through their rear guard. Sinisterra gets the ball, pops it in the corner. None of that front 4 who started today are able to do that off the bat. They're not able to do it. They don't have that individual quality to be able to do that. You've got 2 of them on the bench. The manager makes another mistake. Overall, everyone, I'm just sort of resigned to it. When you come to that notion in your head, you just resign to it. And I am resigned to relegation. I fully believe teams are going to pick up points today, as Southampton did last night. But even if they don't, the reason I don't expect this Leeds side to stay up is because we need to win another game. We need to probably win another couple of games. Do I expect them to win another couple of games this season? Absolutely not. They've from being in 16th position and somehow still been in 16th position, they've got a worse mentality than Southampton at the minute, who are bottom of the table. How does that even work? How have they folded that much? But they have, all of them. And this is on from the top down, from a charlatan at the top who's designed a team which is completely top heavy. And when you break through that transition, that midfield, no balance. We never bought in a player, even if he was for the under-21 setup, who mirrored Tyler Adams' attributes in terms of a defensive midfielder, that profile. Never brought a player like that in. And now we're relying on Adam Forshaw in 2023. We've not addressed that right-back side whatsoever. Cody Drame is better than any of those two, Ayling or Christensen. Listen, this is my opinion. This is what I think. He's much better going forward and defensively. But if you're not convinced anyway, you go out and get a proper right-back. Rasmus Christensen is not a Premier League right-back. Neither is Luke Ayling. It's embarrassing when you've got the best wingers in the world tearing up our full-backs. Firpo didn't look like he was injured today, so he was hooked off for Verba. I don't know about that one. I didn't know. I thought Firpo was injured. Rumours are that he wasn't injured. It was a selection thing. I'm fine with Verba coming back in, but wouldn't you just put him left centre back and kept Firpo in there? I don't think Firpo's been atrocious. But throughout the team, you've got weak mentality players with fragile mentalities who cannot deal with pressure. You've also mixed that in with children, and now you've put in a manager who the two best players looks like he's not managing them properly in terms of selection, especially Willie Gnonto, who didn't get involved in the game when he came on, had barely any time to get involved. And if you're him, would you get involved if the manager's just keeping you off the pitch and throwing you on for the last 10 minutes just to get something from you? It's an absolute shambles. And it's from the guy at the top, the dreamer, Victor Orta, who's designed this absolutely woeful side, which we don't have the profiles whatsoever, in my opinion, to sustain Premier League status across the pitch. I also think, unfortunately, we're not ruthless going up top because the manager won't start certain individuals consistently. We don't see that. He just seems to stick with favourites. And at the back, we're atrocious. We're absolutely atrocious. And we have a goalkeeper who is nowhere near it and has years and years and years and years before he hits any top level. Years and years. And if we had once again, squad building again, you'd actually have a second goalkeeper like Palace have got with Sam Johnston, a keeper like that to come in. Sam Johnston's performance against Leeds United was the best performance we've seen at Ellen Road in a long time from a goalkeeper. There you go. That says everything. And that's Palace's second goalkeeper. We've got Joel Robles. We've got a 38-year-old guy who's just sitting on the bench. We've not actually got anybody who's competing with Ilan Mele for that number one slot like Sam Johnston will be doing with Gaeta. We haven't done that because the guy, top down, hasn't built profiles within this side. He's gone top heavy. He goes for wingers all the time, and that's it. As I said, never forget, we brought in a lad in January who never gets any minutes for 35 million quid. Not a striker, a winger who never gets any minutes whatsoever. Whether or not you think that's good enough, Rutter's good enough, 35 million quid. Doesn't even get on the bench. Absolute shambles from top to bottom. My opinion, we're down. I fully expect Leeds to go down. I'd be stunned, as I've said multiple times, for us to stay up. I apologise if you want me to come on airy fairy and head in the clouds. As I've said multiple times before, you will not get this on. You will not get that on this channel. You'll get real, and I'm not coming on here and appealing to some happy clappers who just want to say we'll stay up without any foundation every single time. Guys, appreciate your support always. Make sure you're liking the content. We have stuff on Patreon all the time. We've got about 2 or 3 bonus videos this week, and we'll have some more next week as well. Make sure you stay tuned for some content that'll be firing up this week onwards, guys. Depressing again, but it's Leeds United. This is what we expect. Have a good one, and I'll see you in a bit.